Ugh. Why did I do this?
Hi, I'm May. Come make some musical electronics with me. Let's get intellectual.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Doing okay? I'm doing good. Staying hydrated, working on my anxiety coping mechanisms. And today I wanted to just check in and chat with you a little bit. I did start filming a project video. I did the first half of it on a sunny day, and the sun has only lasted for about 20 minutes since then, and it involves paint. So I will not be finishing that in a timely manner, but it's coming. So in the meantime, I just wanted to kind of have a nice chat, sit down video. A lot of YouTubers do a thing called a get ready with me, where they chat with you about their lives and inner thoughts while putting on makeup. Not really our style here, so I thought, what can I do while I chat with you that might be interesting? I called my neighbors and asked them to please run a leaf blower during this entire filming session, so hopefully that keeps up. But secondly, I am sitting next to my record collection, and I thought, why not go through all of my records, organize them in alphabetical order so that it's easier for me to actually listen to records. Now, I do have a nice mid-century vintage credenza for records, but right now it's full entirely of my band's vinyl records, like our merch. So I've been storing my records in these bins that stack up really nicely. And today I thought would be good. Also, a store called Pepperland near me. It was a record store that was around basically my whole life. Closed, and I went in there to see what I could grab, and they let me have all of their organization cards. Now, there's said things like Avett Brothers, Barry White, Space Monkeys, Aha. But I turned them around and I've just put alphabetical letters on them. However, because I'm currently storing my records in these stacking boxes, I don't know if they'll be able to stack with these things in there. They might. We'll see. So for right now, I think I'm just gonna lay these out on the ground and organize all my records all across the ground while I chat with you. And maybe I'll intermittently talk about some of the records too. Okay, let's get started. So, the OCs, Castlemania. The OCs are one of my favorite bands of all time. Even though they constantly change their name and their spelling is going under T. For recently, Elvis Costello. I was thinking about how I'm gonna get work as a film composer. In 2020, I have not yet had a film scoring job. I have two actually, that were supposed to happen and keep getting pushed back. And I'm a little terrified that they'll be canceled. So I've been thinking about what I can do as a film composer. And one of the things that a lot of film composers do is they record 10 to 12 songs that could work as film scores, that are all, what's the term? Thematic, you know, the same genre, running threads throughout. And then they try and get those to a placement company or a library track company, Velvet Underground, and eventually they get paid through placement on TV and things like that. So rather than being hired to actually compose a score to a film, they use tracks you've already made. 3-Dog Night. Tea. So I also thought about how much the industry's changed. It used to be they wanted composers with really diverse sounds, and I can do diverse sounds. I've done sci-fi, I've done comedy, as well as horror, but now they look for people with a very distinct voice. And although I want to do horror, what is this? Benny Goodman. Although I want to do horror, my horror style is more eclectic. It's more like, you know, Michael Abels or Brian Wrightsell. Like, it's experimental in tone. I like to pull from world music and things. I thought about what could I do that has a distinct voice? And because I listen to a lot of 60s music, one thing that I listen to a lot of that a lot of people don't listen to anymore is exotica. I thought about blending the Martin Denny, tiki, exotica, Les Baxter vibe with horror. And I'm really liking it. I'm really liking how it's going. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and make a full album of that and just try and get placement companies or library track companies for that. So that's one way I'm trying to stay creative, learn, and, you know, survive. All-star hootenanny. So another thing that I've been doing lately is growing plants. I got this cool indoor setup because I'm all right at growing vegetables and herbs in the yard until pests. I have read so much about different pests and how to get rid of them, and I try and do it naturally with garlic or mint oil, like a peppermint oil in spray bottles and things. I do all that, and then when that doesn't work, I've even tried doing non-natural solutions, and I just can't beat them. So I'm growing a bunch of food indoors. Smokey Robinson. And frankly, I love it. I've got cucumbers growing, tomatoes growing, chives, fennel, basil. What else do I have? Green onions, some rosemary that I snuck out in the middle of the night and stole from a neighbor's lawn, but she has a lot. She has a lot of rosemary. No one needs that much rosemary, all right? You don't need to worry that, like, my coping mechanism during this world event is that I'm becoming a petty plant thief in the middle of the night. I mean, that may happen, but it's not because of panic or pandemic. So I'm really enjoying growing these plants, and I'm really having fingers crossed that in a few months, my home studio will also just basically be a jungle of edible plants. Feet hurt. Oh. Fire of Love, one of the greatest albums I've ever heard. Absolutely every song is killer. Garage punk, not almost like psychobilly, a little bit. Every song is perfect. One of my favorite bands of all time. Hurt. Ow. Cramping. amazing band, one of my favorite bands of all time. Los Angeles, probably one of the best records ever made. These guys, even though they are definitely securely embedded in rock history, particularly punk rock history, I still feel like they don't get enough credit, you know? Like, maybe because they never had some huge pop hit, but they took punk while it was still developing to this higher new art form level. Like, the guitar lines in these punk songs are absolutely phenomenal. The lyrics are pure poetry, and the subject matter, it's deep, it's meaningful, and yet it still has that punk aggression. Also, Exene happens to be an excellent cook, and she makes these little pastry things with blue cheese in them. I think they had meat in them too, I can't remember, but they just light all of my Irish food sensibilities on fire. So they're so good, delicious. So I've gotten through all the boxes. Now, there are some records I'm leaving where they are, like these guys, just under my record player, because those are, you know, records I go to so often that it's silly to put them away. And then I also have, I'm a little out of breath because I was dancing, but I also have these records here, down here. These are like holiday records and really nice old records, like records my grandma sang on or records my aunt gave me after her dad died. So I just kind of leave them there. They don't go in the piles. So now it is time to take these piles and alphabetize them. I have done it. I have organized the mass bulk of my records. They are alphabetical. I do wish I had waited to label these cards that I got from Pepperland till after doing this so that I would see which letters could share a card or not, because the letters I chose were XYZ and ABC, and those are the two biggest sections of my collection. But as you can see, they're organized. So I feel a little bit better, and I got a little bit of exercise other than just taking walks around my block. And now I'm sort of looking at the records behind me and thinking I probably should just go ahead and organize them, at least alphabetize them, if not put them into the two here, because I'm sure there's a lot of like just lazy filing happening. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I've got some sourdough starter to feed, and my dogs could probably take a W. Okay. So that's it. Like I said before, I have some more videos coming. I think during this unusual time, I would like to just make more videos since we're all kind of sitting in front of our computer anyway, which means I might stray a little bit from usual content, but it'll always be music related in some way. And as I said before, I also do have some big cool like guitar projects going on coming up. So pray for sun. It won't help. So that's it. See you guys next time. And if you're new here, subscribe. It's a fun place. Seacrest out.